Welcome, Magnus Gink from Green Tech Recycling.
Absolutely.
And you're stepping in because your CEO is not feeling well today.
I'm afraid so.
But you know the company very well, you're at the board, and the stage is yours.
Thank you very much. Do you know that approximately 100,000 tons of used tires are collected in Sweden every year? Anyone know these numbers? Not at all. You knew it because you have read our report, of course. Absolutely. A large amount of these tires are burnt. And if all of them would be burnt, that amounts to 350,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions. And how much is that if we put that in context somewhere? I think you know because you've read. It is, but it's also the same amount as the total domestic air travel in Sweden emits in one whole year, if you would actually burn all of those tires. So we're talking about substantial amounts. For no reason, it seems, because these tires could be recycled. The problem has been that there has not existed a technology able to recycle that in large scale. Technology exists very often in a small scale, but when you upscale it in these type of contexts, problems arise anyway. So you need to have a technology that works in large scale. And that has not existed up until now. But this has changed. We have identified such a technology. It's up and running. It exists in Germany. It's backed by one of the largest chemical companies in the world, BASF. So it does indeed work. We have signed a contract with the company in question. It's called Pyrum Technologies. And we have exclusive rights to build recycling factory using this technology for all of the Nordics, including the Baltic states. And we have also used this technology now, this right to go on and establish. I've built a recycling company before in my own right, and I know the problem is very often you need to have access to the used tires in this case, and that's more difficult than you think. It sounds very easy, but it's not. And then you need to have contracts with the customers that will buy the recycled products that come out of the recycled tires. If you don't have that in place, you will run into trouble when you try to build this. And we have those type of agreements and letter of intents. First of all, with the used tires that you have in Sweden in particular. And then we have contracts with the buyers of the different products. And anyway, so that's what we are doing. When you do recycled tires, anybody knows what you get when you recycle tires. I think you do, Tord, I'm sure, at least, since you're the chairman of the company. But anyone else? Anyways, I can tell you, typically you get three main things. You get carbon black, which in Sweden is called kimrök. That's basically a powder. And you can use that powder to make new tires, which makes a lot of sense. Then you also get oil, and the oil you can use, you get the oil, and then that can be used as fuel. And then you get the gas, that you can use the gas basically to run, for example, recycle plants. And we have agreements and letters of intents with buyers of all of these products in place. So what we will do is establish a factory. Actually, I should have a clicker so I can show you the factory somehow. Okay. All right. Very good. Here you see the burning tires. That is, as we say in the south, in the US, where I studied. That's bad. Here you see a picture of the factory in Germany, which is really important. It's up and running. It does work in Germany already, and we're going to establish the same type of factory here in Sweden. We have an option agreement with the community of Åmål in Dalsland, but we will build a very similar plant. It's close to. You need to have access to not only the feedstock, meaning the tires. You also need to have people that can run a factory of this type, and that you have in that part of Sweden, because close enough to Stenungsund, so you have chemical engineers there. It's also close enough to Norway, so you can actually get feedstock from Norway. The factory you're looking at there is very similar to what we're going to build in Åmål. It's going to be ready in 2027. It's going to be able to turn over around 150 million Swedish crowns, EBITDA around 50%, which is really important. So it's a profitable business in its own right. It will recycle about 20,000 tons of tires every year. That's about a fifth of the total emissions then from the domestic air travel in Sweden, at the same time as it will be profitable all along. So that's what we're doing in green tech recycling. So right now we're doing the second round of investments, second round of financing. We're looking for $15 million and 15 million Swedish crowns, sorry. And then, yes, go ahead. A question?
50.
No, 15. 15 at this point. Yeah. And thereafter, we're going to go ahead and then do another round to actually build the whole factory. The money will mostly be used for pre-planning and so on, civil engineering and so on. We've done a lot of that work already, but there's still some things remain as well. So, in summary, we have a technology that works. There's no technology risk. We have the customers. We know what they are paying, and we have the agreements and letter of intent, so we can calculate how much profit will we actually make. That's why we can say 50% EBITDA with very, very much security. We also have letters of intent and agreement with the providers of these used tires, and we also have loose commitments from industrial investors from abroad for building the factory also from outside of Sweden. And we hope that you would like to join us on this journey. If you're looking at the valuation that we're raising this money on, if you're comparing to comparable companies, we are at about a valuation of about a tenth of comparable companies at the moment, because we're still in a reasonably early phase. But I hope you're going to be interested in joining us on this journey, and you're going to contribute with a large carbon dioxide emission decrease in Sweden, first of all, and then we're going to go ahead and build another factory in the Nordics there later on. So it's a profitable journey, and we're going to be up and running in 2027. We hope you're going to join us. So thank you,
Magnus. If you have a seat.
With that firm point, I will do exactly as you say.
And I invite your chairman, Tord Cederlund, up on stage as well. I'm a little bit bossy here.
I noticed, so I did exactly what you said.
Otherwise, we will crash the timetable.
Yeah, no problem.
We got so far away at the ocean, so we're actually going to prolong the event with 5 minutes.
We do like the ocean as well.
So
but we don't want tires.
So we buy some more time to solve that problem.
Very good. Looking forward.
And I start with a question to you, Tord. You are.
Hello.
It works.
Yes.
Okay.
So you have invested in many companies, and
that's right,
you have strictly believed and trusted that this company is a big thing. You're actually owning 55%. And you're involved as a chairman. Why did you choose this company to invest so heavily in? What's your...
Well, first of all, I think we all believe that something has to be done with the climate. And doing that, you have to actually, if the climate should be better, one has to do something. And can we see the factory again? Here,
it's
maybe?
Actually up there. But
it's there, yeah. Can we have the picture?
Can we get it up there? Somehow. I think it's already out online, Tord.
It's here.
So.
Yeah, here. This is the factory that we're going to copy. And we are very fortunate to have the ability to do that, because they are investing in some countries, and we are lucky to have the possibility to do Sweden and the Nordic countries and even Balticum. And in this way, we can do something for the climate, we can do something that is a profitable thing, and that's why I believe that this is something, that's why I invested the biggest part of the money so far.
And to dig directly into that, you are describing this as a profitable company, but you don't have the revenues yet because this is not up and running. Right?
You are quite right, Ingmar.
But you have a lot of customers already on board that will buy both give the this industry the raw material and buy the end product, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But we all know that that was also the business model of Northvolt. They have the clients, but they failed building the factory because it became so expensive and complicated to build it. So my question is,
Well, I don't
is
think
this easier? What's the risk of actually making this factory a reality?
Well, I don't think it was the difficulty in building the factory. It's what happened in the process. And what we are copying. They are already there. They've done it. They've shown it. And this is why we believe that nothing is simple, but this is possible to do.
It's easier to recycle tires than to build car batteries.
Yeah,
correct.
So let's invite the audience, and my colleague will choose.
Yes, varsågod.
Yes, I have a very quick question. Why are not the deck companies as Nokia Deck not doing this?
Maybe I can answer it. Typically, when you work with large production companies, they are very interested in producing. Their main business is making sure that their production lines work. They're not in the recycling business per se. Doesn't mean that they're not interested in buying recycling material, but that's not their core business. So that is the complete reason. But they're still the buyers of the recycled carbon black at the end of the day. So they are the ones using it once we recycle it. And it's, by the way, technically equivalent to virgin material. So it makes sense for many reasons, but they don't do it for that reason.
And we have another one.
We sell to them.
I've reacted to the issue of all of these very many tires being burnt before, so thank you for contributing. I have a few questions. Since this is not your industry up on the screen, what's the and you say there is a lot of the technology is there, it's not difficult, it's there's a lot of companies who have been there in small scale. It sounds like a very low barrier to entry. Do you have a unique selling point over the others? Do you have IP? What's hindering them from coming into the Swedish since they're already upscaled and have proven a profitable solution?
Well, the answer is that they want to work with local companies. And so we are a local company that they want to work with.
So we have the exclusive rights for the Nordics. So that means we are working with them to do this. So we're paying them for the license, basically. But that means that they have no incentive to go to the Nordics. They would like to work with us.
Okay, so it's a collaboration between them and you.
Yeah,
and
we have an agreement.
Extending their business.
You didn't say that. That's a big difference. We thought you were copying this, but you're actually doing it
together
with
with them.
No, that's a big difference. Thank you.
So that's a huge. I mean, it will be like Northvolt will have a deal with Tesla. So it's a big difference.
No, we're
Thank you.
working very close together with
Great
them.
question.
Thank you for your question.
Very interesting projects. A very good project. Really, congratulations. Very important. I basically have two questions. What are you doing with the gas you're producing? The factory seems a little bit small for handling the gas. And my other question would be, how do you stand with? How do you compete with depolymerization? I mean, you have competing technology in reversing the cross-linking of rubber. Maybe you can say a word on that. Thank you.
Can I comment on the first one first? I mean, the gas we are looking at, our neighbor at Åmål is the, I don't know how to say it, fjärrvärmeverket. So that's what we're going to use the syngas produce.
District heating.
Yeah, district heating, exactly. So that's what we're going to do in Åmål. And when it comes to comparing that technology you specifically mentioned, I don't know the details of that, but to my knowledge, it works for a certain type of tires, and it's also a certain type of cost associated with it. So when BASF invested in Pyrum, which is this German company, they assessed this to be the most cost-efficient way to deal with most of the tire. There will be some unique types of tires where you would probably have use for your technology, and we have assessed that the bulk of the 20,000 tons we're going to address does not need that. Oh, that's exactly it. Yeah. So.
Sure. So no, just to also tell, Pyrum, they are also coming in as investors in our company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or have
Yes.
they invested already?
No, they're committed.
Not yet, but
They are committed in this round?
No,
No,
next
not in
round.
this
In the
round.
next round. So
Next
this is
round,
the
yes.
round before you do the bigger round. How
That's
much
right.
have they committed?
30 million kronos.
Okay. Like 3 million euros.
3 million euros, yes.
Yes.
Very interesting. And what I understand, you're doing a small round now
Yeah.
to finance that you are after that going to do the bigger round,
Correct.
and you already have a corporate finance firm going to help you.
Yeah.
And obviously you have a key investor that is the factory there.
Yeah.
So that's very
Yes.
interesting. We have some question on. Yes.
There is a competitive area. There are other companies working with the same area. You have EcoRub, for example. What's the difference?
Maybe the one that we always get questions about is Enviro, which is another company doing a very similar thing, but the difference here is they are using batch technology, meaning that they can take in smaller batches of tires that have a certain composition, and by doing that they can actually take in more feedstock, but that requires them to have a specific technology. It also requires them to do cleaning between the different batches. We are doing more of a traditional chemical approach, meaning when you do chemical businesses you typically want 24/7 to run all the time. That's what makes it profitable. So we are not going for batch technology, we're going for a continuous process. So those are the two differences, and that means that you have a little bit of a risk in the technology scale up for the batch technology. In our case we do not, so that's the difference.
But Enviro is also a good company.
It's also a good
And-
company. We
and
see them as
colleagues,
not
yes.
competitors, but
and
colleagues.
since you heard there's only in Sweden 100,000 tons, we are going to take care of 20,000 tons. So there is still 80,000 tons to handle.
And we have some online questions as well, and I had a little bit hard time to read the names, but the second person from the right at the top.
This is more addressed to the ocean issue. I wanted to say that there are big projects that are coming down the pipe. Save Our Planet Refillery is transforming distribution with new infrastructure and technology to remove packaging, which will reduce costs, waste, and shipping volumes by 65%. We are selling SOP systems to retail hospitals, but we're also selling manufacturing licensing to countries because we are not exporting anything. We are allowing countries to actually change themselves. There are 3 phases of innovation to removing packaging. This is phase 1.
There is always a risk if the proper type of emission control systems, which you mentioned most probably as closed system, is not properly installed and operated. There are huge chance of serious health impacts due to toxic emissions. You have mentioned 2 words. 1, closed system. 2, it is profitable. Now, another belief goes that if someone tries to run the factory with adequate type of emission control system or in a closed manner with all negative suction and everything, then the system becomes not profitable. So I would like to know that how are you so confident that your system is going to be profitable, which is extremely important, and also a closed system, even when you are going to install continuous operation, which means that there will be less quality control over the product. The different heterogeneous types of tires are going to be fed. So how you are going to attend that? Because your case can inspire many of in other country and help you.
Such things we can just say, and you could show that this factory that we are going to copy is located where there are houses, normal houses all around. So there isn't any emission of any kind in this factory. So we are not going to slip out any emissions either.
The emission that because you burn something, right?
But it's actually a closed system. But you actually, for once, I have to say, I have to refer this to the engineers to explain exactly how it works, doctor, because I cannot explain it myself. I've just looked at it, and the numbers do add up. So we do not emit anything.
I think what it's doing is that it's pyrolysis.
Yes.
It's capturing the carbon.
Yeah.
And it release what's not carbon.
We are using the carbon because that is our product. So of course, you know, there's no carbon emission, but there could be some other emissions, and that's how I interpreted the question, and that's why I can't really answer it.
So
Obviously, there are no carbon emissions at all because we use that as carbon black.
You check it, and we will know the answer in detail. So that's it. Last question, and I want a fast answer. Why should anyone here invest, and how big is the kind of minimum investment size? What's the super?
Why should one invest? To make this possible. It's a great idea, and it's worth making it possible. And we, of course, not too small amounts, but we haven't really put the minimum amount to invest.
And that is?
So it's okay, 1 million or so is fine.
Okay. All here know where to find you, and I wish you a lot of good luck with this. It's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming.